first got introduced to pain pills when I had a traumatic event that happened in my life. I had a miscarriage, and they gave me pain pills, and I started to take more than what I was prescribed.
My first introduction to drugs was when I was 27 years old, and I got prescribed this opioid after a knee surgery. Prior to that, growing up, I never did any drugs at all. I never smoked cigarettes, I never smoked marijuana, I never did anything.
What turns now of acute pain into chronic pain, now you need a fentanyl patch. You also need Norco. You need Ultram. There's 3 narcotics there, not to mention all the other muscle relaxers.
The only thing I really knew about addiction was what they teach in school. But I don't think I really understood how much it takes a hold of you and takes over your life. But I quickly figured that out once it was too late.
It's something that you always expect. When you have a child that's an addict, you always kind of have it in your heart that that day's coming.
This country doesn't do anything with women in mind. The design of smartphones, spacesuits, car crash dummies, sports gear, even CPR mannequins are all based on the male body. We also haven't designed a healthcare system that addresses women's needs. It doesn't make me feel any better knowing that the problem isn't new. In the second half of the 19th century, doctors, who were overwhelmingly male, began prescribing morphine, a derivative of the opium plant, for every pain women had, from menstrual cramps to nervous conditions. By century's end, 2/3 of opium users were women, predominantly white upper and middle class. Now, 120 years later, it's happened again. Without considering how these medications might affect a woman's body, the still predominantly male medical profession, combined with big pharma and retail drugstores, treated women's pains with handfuls of candy-colored pills.
An opioid is a drug that affects the mu-opioid receptor, which is very important for pain, but it's also very important for reward. I like to describe them as prescription opioids or non-prescription opioids. Within the prescription opioids, you can have illicit made versus the licit ones, the doctor prescribed them. And then for the non-prescription opioids, you have heroin, fentanyl. You have basically compounds that have been developed for their abuse. And though fentanyl is used for anesthesia, the overdoses that we're seeing with fentanyl basically are from illicitly manufactured fentanyl.
Up until 1993, there was no federal mandate to include women in clinical research and trials. For dosage purposes, they were simply considered small men. Therefore, many prescription medications weren't tested on women. Most women using opioids suffer, at the same time, from depression, anxiety, ADHD, bipolar disorder, or have a history of trauma. But mental health and trauma-informed care are often missing from a woman's recovery process.